Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Excel College Podcast. I'm your host, Andrew Chambers.
And I'm Isaiah Schmidt.
And today we have our friend Austin Smith with us.
Hello.
He's been here
What's up?
a bunch. Everyone knows Austin.
Yes.
He's
Nice.
not a guest.
Welcome
I'm
to the
here.
studio.
Yeah.
I'm here.
Welcome back to your home.
Yes.
You've been here for hours.
I've been here for
Yeah.
a little while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, are you guys, so Austin and Isaiah and I are going up to State College this week.
Uh-huh.
He's coming?
Yeah.
Are you really?
I was one
Yeah,
of the
Let's
OG.
go,
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah, he was the original.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I thought
Oh,
it was
really?
just you and me.
Oh, no, yeah. Isaiah's
All
going.
right.
Yeah.
Party. Let's
Yeah.
go.
We're going to go see our friends Jed, Eli, Steven.
Yes.
They're working at Diamondback.
It's going to be
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. It's going to
That'll
be
be
amazing.
fun.
Yeah. Going
Meet
to
Jed's
speak.
robot friend.
Yeah. Yeah.
You built
Yeah.
that?
We're
Yeah.
probably not going to hardly see him because they're working so
Yeah.
much.
That's true. That's true. Those guys are grinding. Yeah. But today, so before we do that, though, we're leaving Wednesday. But today we wanted to talk about our values and virtues curriculum that we talked about in the last episode, the Practicum episode with Nicole.
Awesome.
Which, if you haven't listened to that episode yet, you should go back and listen to that one before this one.
It's
Yeah.
good.
Because in the core, we have a curriculum
Mm-hmm.
that's built around kind of this like 5 pursuit model of education, but it's built around liberal arts.
Yep.
And then Practicum, everyone's off doing their own thing, working, apprenticing, but we still have a curriculum that ties the narrative together. And Austin, and along with Nicole, did all of the work to build that curriculum out. And so
Awesome.
Nicole and a few others, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hawk and Rob
Yeah.
Nice.
helped too.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so the curriculum is our values and virtues of what we value here at Excel and what we think it looks like to be a wise, mature, productive, holistic person.
Mm-hmm.
So we wanted Austin to come on and school us a little bit, which this is the first time I've actually heard the spiel. For,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
So
All right.
we're here. Let's
Cool.
do it.
I'll try not to
I'm
screw it
pumped.
up too much.
Nice.
Yeah. No, that's really good. And the practicum, like we have a curriculum for practicum, yes, in these values, virtues, but I think too, it's important to say the marketplace is a lot of your curriculum. It's like the apprenticeship part of it.
Yeah.
And so that's one of my favorite things ever is just the hands-on learning experience. So this kind of like partners with the apprenticeship model.
It's like the
essentially.
marketplace is the context, and this is the context.
Yeah, the content. Yeah, that's good.
Cool.
Yeah.
I just did that just now.
Yeah, I'll just write that in my notes. No, and the cool thing about this, because these 4 virtues, which is what we hit primarily, because we have over like 100 and something values, which I can get into, but the 4 virtues primarily are these staples of like how a team player should function, and so or how one should live. And so we do that in a like on a soul level, but then also in the marketplace. What does it look like? So the cool thing is we're still developing this curriculum. Like I think we always will be.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh,
discovering
yeah.
more and more about
That's awesome.
how these function and flow as a human being, and then as like functioning in a healthy family, and then functioning in a marketplace, workplace type of thing. So, but yeah, so super quick overview is so first 15 months, students are going through the core. We focus on 5 pursuits. I think we've talked about that on this podcast.
I think so.
Practical, professional, spiritual, missional, and intellectual.
Yep.
Boom.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I have an acronym, but I won't say it on the podcast.
Okay.
You can probably figure it out at home. Pimps.
Oh. Actually. Nice.
I
I
said
didn't
it
know
out-
that. I was like,
I said
right when
it
you
out of
said that,
order.
I was like, I've never heard that order before. I've always heard intellectual, spiritual, practical, professional, missional.
Imp-
Sorry. Anyway,
That's hilarious.
so
I hope that's okay with our audience.
Yeah. I think we're fine.
and then
We're not endorsing pimps. We're just saying.
no, I mean
It's just a word.
you can mix it up to like simps with like or like simp
He was so
with 2
serious when he
P's.
said that. I thought he was about to go.
What?
You were so serious when you said that.
The acronym thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're like, no, you mix it up.
Oh, it's funny.
Shock
Anyway,
and awe.
shock and awe.
So we have that as as kind of the focus of these are the 5 things that we are pursuing. So I like to say that these are the things that we're focusing on doing. We're trying to be missional. We're trying to grow our intellect. You know, all these things. And then the virtues are more of a being thing.
Cool.
Got
So
it.
this is like a state of who you are
Yeah.
or how we should be. And so the 4 virtues are humble, honoring, hungry, and healthy. And so if you can visualize for our audio listeners, I don't think I have a visual for people on YouTube, but imagine a Venn diagram back to the old school days.
Which is
There's
2
4
circles.
Yeah,
overlapping.
normally it's 2 circles. This is 4.
4
Okay.
circles.
4 circles. And in the very
Stacked
middle,
or horizontal.
they're like a 4-leaf clover.
Okay.
type of-
Okay.
like
okay.
4
okay.
circles.
Oh wow, it's huge. Okay.
And then they
Got it.
blend into each other.
Okay.
And so the very center is like what we like to call holistic
Nice.
human.
I'm here for it.
So anyway, so those are 4 virtues, and those are what we primarily focus on in the second 15 months or the practicum. And then we have accompanying those 4 virtues, we have, I think it's like 111 or something values. And so those values just are they just kind of help support those virtues. So like we value fun, we value adventure, we value integrity, you know, these big things,
Yeah.
but we're fitting them in around these pillars of these 4 virtues.
Gotcha.
Cool.
So essentially, we've developed a curriculum for the practicum. We're actually, hopefully, in the next little bit, coming out with like an actual book
Let's go.
and a workbook that accompanies it.
Nice.
Wow.
So you can take notes. You can evaluate yourself. How honoring are you?
Wow.
You know, type of thing.
Shoot, yeah.
amazing.
Eventually, sometime in the future, whenever I want to make a personality test, I think that would be really fun.
That would be sick.
Wow.
Anyways, so lots of plans there. But yes, I think that was kind
Yeah.
of
So
a good
humble,
overview.
Oh, yeah.
hungry,
Yes, humble, honoring,
honoring.
hungry, healthy.
Is there any
Honoring.
specific order to those? Or?
Yeah, I like to say it in that order because humility is kind of like they all are as important as each other, but humility is the foundation. So like humble is the first one. So that's what like C6 right now, they're going through humble first.
Awesome.
Because in order to properly define and try to change and live out the rest of these virtues, you kind of have to get the humility portion right.
Okay.
Because Charles Spurgeon says like humility is the proper estimate of oneself. So it really focuses a lot on identity of like who you are. So are you confident in who you are? Are you overly confident and prideful? Are you insecure? Are you trying to balance this in a humble way of like just being a confident human?
That's good.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like it's identifying all these things, and then from there, once you kind of figure out, okay, this is who I am and how I operate. Now, out of that overflow of identity, I can actually honor others.
Yeah.
Because it's really hard to honor others if you don't honor yourself.
Yeah.
And so that's why we prioritize humility first, and then the rest kind of follow.
I like
So,
that.
I love that you used honor yourself instead of love yourself. 'Cause
Yeah.
I do think
Wow.
like loving yourself's important, but I feel like it's kind of been hijacked a little bit. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think honor yourself.
I kind of
honor-
feel like that's like self-care kind of thing.
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
little bit.
Exactly. Yeah.
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 Wow.
Yeah, honor yourself. And really, you know, classic. We were born to be loved.
Boom,
Yeah.
baby.
So as long as we know we're loved,
Yeah.
then we honor
you
ourselves.
can-
in that. Yeah.
That's good.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cool.
Anyway.
Yeah. So do you want to talk a little bit about each one or?
Yeah,
or
that's fine.
Yeah? Okay. This is your show, so wherever you want to go.
Oh,
with this.
I don't know. Yeah, where do I say? Well, let me preface it by saying, so I gave this talk a little bit ago to everybody at an all team,
Which was awesome.
and I talked about before these 4 virtues because they are more of a being thing, not necessarily a doing thing. Because the do flows out of the who. You know what I'm saying?
Hey.
I've not heard that one.
You haven't? Oh, okay.
The
Yeah.
dew flows out of the who?
Yeah.
Huh.
That can be taken a bunch of different ways.
Out of the overflow of the heart, the mouth speaks,
Yeah.
man.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
What you
Ah.
do flows out of who you are.
Ah.
I'm saying?
Okay. I'm with
Okay.
it. Yeah.
My
Uh,
5th grade. I got a 3-year-old kid. So instantly a poop joke. Just don't do
I know. It just gets
But that
a
would have
little-
been immature to reference, so I definitely didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is a good litmus test, you know, to see if you just
of
take it
maturity.
as like
Yeah.
face value or if you automatically go to poop jokes.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So but kids probably help that.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
I don't have kids yet. Anyway, so
The dew flows out of the who.
yes. So I kind of prefaced that night, and I'll preface now, of just the idea of a culture and what that is. Obviously, you guys have heard it a lot, but you know, our two main priorities as Excel are to build family and make disciples. They kind of collaborate with the creation mandate and or the creation blessing, and the Great Commission.
It's awesome.
So it's rule, subdue, fill the earth, all that good stuff. And then the end is go and make disciples of every nation, baptizing them, Father, Son, Holy Spirit.
Wow.
So they pair with that really well. And then, so the idea of I say culture, but another good word is ethos, which is technically Greek, but we've kind of incorporated it into English, and basically it's the same word. But it's essentially like an environment or an atmosphere type of thing. And then we also use a word that's French called terroir.
Terroir.
Or terroir.
Terroir.
I don't speak French, so something like that.
We need a French person.
Roast me if you want to.
Yeah, terroir.
But anyways, that word is super cool. Whoa. That word's super cool because it's actually primarily used for winemaking. They use that word. And it essentially just means like this overall climate or atmosphere and like soil temperature, you know, topography, like everything that you can think of that the vines and the grapes need to be able to create a good wine. That's what they're calling like a terroir. So it's the whole encompassing everything.
They do that on wine bottles straight up. They're like,
Yeah.
This was grown at this altitude.
Oh yeah,
And there
totally.
were fruits around and wheat and all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Which, you know, we have a lot more narrative on all that as well. But the idea is like this culture or this environment, this ethos. And so I said a couple weeks ago, just like everyone grew up in some type of family context, you know. Obviously, that's a huge range of things, but so our formative years, you know, with our blood family or however and wherever you grew up, like either intentionally or unintentionally, you grew up in some type of culture, some type of environment, some type of atmosphere. And that is the thing that primarily rubs off on you, and actually formative years, like forms some of your thinking, your ways, you know, your walk, that kind of thing. So it's either intentionally set or unintentionally set, you know?
Yeah.
So like, you know, I use the example of like, when you're growing up, like, did you have dinner around a table with your family, or did you have dinner, you know, just watching TV?
Yeah.
Or did you just go to the fridge and grab food whenever you wanted?
Right.
You know, those things are basic, but like that may be an intentional or an unintentional culture shaper.
Yeah.
So as you grow up, you know, that affects like a lot of different things. Okay, so basic example. So I like to preface the virtues with this type of thing because Excel as a whole, we understand that a lot of things are caught and not taught.
Yeah.
Even though we do teach a lot, which is great, but it's the way that we live our lives. And that's, I feel like, true education and discipleship is looking up to someone and being with them and seeing how they operate and seeing the fruit of their life.
Yeah.
And then you catch that stuff.
Yeah.
So that stuff is sticky.
Yeah.
It's an invisible thing that you actually catch.
Yeah.
And if it inspires you, or if there's good fruit, you
Yeah.
know, typically you like to adopt those things
Yeah.
for your own life.
Dang.
So
You're a good teacher.
what we're doing with this curriculum is this invisible ethos, terroir. We're trying to put language to it to make it easier to comprehend.
Yeah.
So good.
Although things are caught rather than taught most of the time, we're trying to be able to put this into a
language
curriculum
to it,
to where we can
Yeah.
teach it,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Well,
Or at
because if
least where
you're
it's-
yeah. If you're teaching it, it's top of mind. You got people thinking about it. They're trying to strive for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just makes it more palatable.
Yeah.
And then there's other things, and this applies to a lot of things, but there's other things that, you know, it's like, well, how do I explain this? How do I describe this? You know, like this feeling or this invisible thing. And so putting language to it, I think, just immediately kind of helps everyone like, oh, that's what it is.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Well, I think too, like the whole he who began a good work in you will carry it on to completion until the day of Christ. Like these are things that we're like striving to become, are becoming, and like are being. And so I think like you never really live something out perfectly until you arrive. You know what I'm saying? And so there's this impartation and it's caught, and then there's this standard that we're constantly striving for. You know what I'm saying?
Totally.
And growing into as a community, as a team, as a culture.
Yeah.
All the things.
Or even just like the first step of education is having similar terms. Like you might use the word honor and you think of this.
Yeah.
And I might use the word honor and I think of this.
Yeah.
And just making sure, like right now we're coaching like young kids with soccer, or Rob's the head coach, you know?
Yeah.
And Rob knows a lot about soccer. I don't really know a lot about soccer, but he'll just like introduce one term and then I'll just like kind of pick up on like, oh, Rob's trying to teach him this. So then Rochelle and I are like constantly just using the same word over and over and over and just like reinforcing this one word and not overloading them. Like we've probably taught them like 5 terms this season. Yeah. And like we're still just hammering on these 5 terms.
Yeah.
Like what's a drop pass? What does that even mean? You know?
I don't know.
You know what I mean?
That's where you like kick it behind you?
Yeah, you drop it back.
Yeah.
Like your defensive players like run up to the midline and the offense drops it back and it opens up the field more.
Yeah.
So,
but yeah, our college soccer team.
Our college soccer team.
4-0 right now.
4-0. Yeah, 4-0.
Yeah.
Wait, what? Dude, I know.
The team that our college roots for.
Oh, right.
The academy, essentially.
There you go. Yeah, honestly.
Half of them.
Yeah.
The academy team.
Kids are crushing it.
Dude,
yeah. Yeah, because I think that's important, the terms thing. Because, like, if you watch Gladiator, where it's strength and honor means one thing.
Right.
But
Totally.
what are we talking about here?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. What's kingdom honor?
Yeah.
Yeah. Totally.
Oh, wow, yeah. Roman honor versus
And through the lens of wise, mature, productive adult.
Yeah.
So it's on the soul, normal level, you know, and then it's on this spiritual level as well. Perfectly naturally spiritual, you know. So, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
Yeah, and like another thing that I said a few weeks ago is like even the word family. Like we have to redefine that term.
Yes.
Because we talk about family a lot and we talk about community a lot, which are very, very similar in our context.
Yeah.
But it's like we have to redefine those terms.
Yep.
Because I could go to a local gym
Yeah.
and see painted on the wall like "Welcome to our family."
Yeah.
Yep.
And
totally.
I'm like, what? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know this guy working next to me.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But I mean, it's fine. I get the intention and it's good.
Totally.
Because what does family insinuate?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
It's like the coming together, you're accepted, you know, great things.
Yeah.
But it's like, okay, let's determine like what healthy family is again.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then look through that lens.
Yeah.
You know, same for discipleship and all these terms that we use, you know.
It's awesome.
And it's
And community, like you were saying.
Yeah.
You know, like so many people come in looking for community.
Yeah.
It's like, and I think the common interpretation is like people to hang out with.
Yeah.
Versus like people to do life together
Yeah.
and strive like kingdom life together, you know?
Yep.
Because it's, I mean, common union is like, or sorry, I spoiled it. Community literally means common union.
Wow.
I mean, that's what it is.
Wow.
And so it's like, I feel like we're getting away from that a little bit because it's just becoming such a buzzword. Of like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, I just want to move into community or be a part of this community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like now, maybe I'm wrong, but like worldly-ish, we're going into this like assumption of community means like as long as people agree with me or I have fun with them, then I'm a part of that community.
Yeah.
Cool.
And the second it gets hard, I'm out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, but that's not what community means. Like common union,
Wow.
unity is better than agreement. It's
Yeah.
like you stick together and stay together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so anyway,
It's like, this might be a crass, not crass, but I don't know, like this kind of analogy of like marriage and covenant, common union, covenant, through thick and thin, you know, till death to us part, versus like friends with benefits or just cohabitation.
right.
It's like, well, moment, you know, it gets not as good as it is bad, I'm out. You know what I
And
mean?
unity, and like that's what I'm saying. Like looking through this lens of these 4 virtues, like you can apply them to everything. So it's like when the going gets tough, what do you do?
Yeah.
Like, do you fight for that unity?
Yeah.
Or do you flee?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or are you dishonoring? You
Yep.
know, do you get lazy and complacent so your hunger goes away?
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of things that you can look through. Looking through that lens, there's a lot of things
Wow.
you can figure out. But so yeah, just real quick, these 4. That's why I have my laptop up here.
Nice.
I'll just read like kind of our short definitions
Yeah,
of
let's
all
do it.
4,
That'd be great.
and then I think that probably good.
Yeah.
Cool.
But
Yeah.
so humble. So we write Excel team players are humble. They lack excessive ego or concerns about status. Humble people are quick to admit their wrongs and slow to blame others. Quick to point out the contribution of others and slow to seek attention for their own. An all for one for all mentality is evident in their work, walk, and ways. Rather than being codependent or independent, humble people are healthily interdependent.
Awesome.
Nice.
Seeking to prioritize love of God and others over self-motives.
Nice.
They hold a resting confidence in their identity and purpose and do not allow selfish opportunity or ambition to become their driving motivator. Humble people can never be bought, but are easy to be taught.
Nice.
Can never be bought?
Bought.
What do you mean?
Can't be bought.
Essentially be swayed or persuaded.
Yeah.
Like they're confident in what they're,
Ah.
who they are, what they're in. You know, it's like
Yeah.
catchy terminology.
I like
about that. Can you be bought?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's bought,
Yeah.
caught, and taught.
Yeah.
I think you
Dang.
can work with
go.
that.
Did you write this? You wrote that one?
Yeah, with help. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Dang.
Yeah,
With help.
with
Yeah,
help.
With help.
Nice.
I did. I didn't write it all by myself.
Nice.
I don't doubt it. Yeah. Just love that you recognize it.
Yeah.
Cool.
The next one is honoring, which is one of my personal favorites, because I always tell people honor changed my life. So we say Excel team players are honoring. They choose to honor their responsibilities, tasks, leaders, and all others around them with excellence. People that understand how to be honoring sacrifice their personal preferences to submit to the leadership's direction and the overall goals of the team. Honoring people help maintain and sustain a supernatural environment, promote unity, whether there is agreement or not.
Wow.
They are quick to confront others with the truth and love and are not passive, dismissive, or permissive. Honor serves, encourages, and calls out the strengths and gifts in someone else. A team player is most effective when honor becomes their lens and lifestyle.
That's amazing.
And we always talk about like how there's this quote too by Bill Johnson that says, "We celebrate a person for who they are without stumbling over who they're not."
Dang. That's so good.
That's really
And
good.
so this applies to peer-to-peer. It applies to your boss at work. It applies to leadership and church, whatever
Yeah.
leadership that you're under, which is a huge one. People kind of shudder at that one a little bit when you talk about, start pressing buttons on like submission to authority and things like that. But honor is just like, it's the mortar to the bricks of the kingdom, I think.
You said honor changed your life. What do you mean by that?
So it's hard to maybe sum up, but essentially I just did a huge, like the word honor specifically, a huge deep dive into that word. I read Danny Silk's Culture of Honor, which is amazing, amazing book. I've read it probably 3 or 4 times. And there's just certain stories even in that book that's just like absolutely honors people even through like really hard circumstances. And just seeing like some of those examples and then following some of the leadership here, walking through really tough stuff and seeing them honor like all the way through, like honoring where it wasn't even necessary. You know what I'm saying? Like where you could in love clap back, but you choose honor instead.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so just growing up under that type of leadership, healthy authority, I might add, for 10 plus years, like caught then taught, right?
Yeah.
So that is a huge portion of why honor changed my life. But then doing a deep dive into what honor actually means is like, it's very closely tied to the word glory in scripture, which really means like a weight or an authority. So when you're honoring someone, you're actually calling out that like gold in them, like the weight and the authority that they carry. So you're trying to identify like their strengths, their gifts, and then encouragement's a huge part of that, and then like calling that back out. And the other portion of honor is like where people bow down to the Lord in fear, quote unquote, which is a whole nother discussion, but because he is, anyway. But so it's like this submission is what it is. And so, and submission, we use that word like, I feel like people think like crack a whip or something, but it's not that at all. It's as if you're submitting an assignment.
Yeah.
So you're just giving your teacher like paper and say like, hey, I made this. Like, what do you think about it? And so I think submission, instead of like this heavy hammer, heavy-handed thing, like submission is like questions. I like to think of submission as questions because you're going to your authority, your leader, and saying like, hey, I'm doing this with my life. Like, what do you think about that?
Yeah.
And then being teachable enough, which is where the first one, humility, comes in. You have to be teachable enough to receive that feedback.
Yeah.
And you have to be confident enough in yourself to say, actually, I don't agree with that because I feel like I'm doing this, or you're totally right, and then repent.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
And so there's two facets to honor like that. So one is like this pulling out the gold in other people, encouraging them. And then one is like, hey, I know, like, I'm not full of pride. So I'm actually going to submit my life, my work, what I'm doing to you. Speak to me. Tell me what you see. Tell me, So there's two aspects of honor. And so I think I derailed your question a little bit. But
that's awesome.
But so learning all that stuff, that's why I say it changed my life, because I've just seen so much fruit that comes out of
So
honor,
good.
just hands down.
Yeah.
So
Well, I think when you learn that your authority is there to serve you.
yes.
then-
Talk about defining terms.
Wow.
Understanding healthy authority, defining that term is necessary.
Yeah.
Like in our day and age, especially.
Totally.
Because so many people have been hurt and abused and all the horrible things. But healthy authority is okay with it all.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Totally.
They're okay with all your questions. They're okay to banter. They're okay to give you feedback, or you give them feedback.
Yep.
And in our context, spiritually healthy authority is submitted to Holy Spirit and or other authorities in their life. So healthy authority begets healthy authority type of thing. So
Yeah.
we got to redefine that term
Yeah.
for sure.
I wonder, is that when you talk about curriculum or a book or even a pamphlet?
Yeah, there's definitely stuff on that. For
That's
sure.
awesome.
For sure.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Okay, so next.
Shall we go to the next one?
Yeah. This
Okay,
is
so
great.
the next one is hungry. And, just as our bodies are hungry for food, so should our souls and spirits be.
Shit.
Wow.
So Excel team players are hungry. They're always looking for more concepts to learn, more responsibilities to steward,
Nice.
and more ways to serve His will,
Nice.
the Lord's will.
Wow.
Hungry people have a self-sustained drive and healthy stride, also never having to be pushed or work harder to complete tasks. Hungry people are not starving people. They don't act out of desperation, but operate from a place of rest.
Wow.
They're always pursuing personal growth, yet still remain teachable and open to other ideas and convictions. They are constantly thinking about the next step and opportunity ahead, while maintaining the integrity to follow through and finish with excellence.
Wow.
Hungry people run, but never run anyone over.
Wow. So good.
That's awesome.
So, and actually, The Ideal Team Player by Patrick Lencioni.
Yeah.
Lencioni.
Highly recommend.
We read that as a leadership team, and we stole some of that from him. So,
Creds to him.
copyright
Yeah.
infringement. I don't know.
Credit.
No, I'm
We're
just
giving
kidding.
him credit for
Yes.
it.
But actually,
Yeah.
just like Danny Silk's Culture of Honor, I mean, like there's so much stuff on all this,
Yeah.
and so we're just trying to compile everything and then put it through Excel's lens, But if you think about those people, maybe it's in the workplace or something, that are just like task driven, like they just get highs from like checking those boxes off, and but they're just like, I'm not aiming at you at all.
No, I know.
I mean, I have other people in my head. But no, I'm just kidding. But they just like, which is not a bad thing, but they just like get this runner's high from like just, going crazy and checking all these things off, and like that's such a great quality. But sometimes those type of people, Lencioni calls them bulldozers, where they just like plow everyone down.
Yeah.
Or like that example of like this guy on his first day of work who like comes into the office and like walks through, like the common area or whatever, and then gets into his office and closes the door. And then his boss comes in and he's like, "What are you doing?" And the guy's like, "I'm here to work." And he was like, "You just walked past all your work."
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
the people.
Like talking
this
about
was
the people.
Maxwell. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's Maxwell. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that concept
people
of
are
just
the
like,
task, yeah.
don't be a bulldozer, but
Yeah.
that quality, that character quality, is so important, because the instant we get lazy or is where we stop growing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What's the word I'm looking? Oh, complacent. That was the word I was
Yeah.
looking for. The instant we do that, we actually stop growing, and then we, in turn or downward spiral, we actually stop receiving feedback from people. We stop being teachable. You know, that kind of stuff. So,
Yeah.
so just to keep that hunger, that drive of hunger.
I love how you have this differentiation between, so like you always want to be hungry for growth, but not desperate.
Yes.
Because there's these people that have the chip on their shoulder, you know?
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, I got to prove everyone wrong. You know, I've got to go get mine.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know? And that's not what we're talking about.
Yeah.
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 But again, it's all rooted in this identity thing. So
Yeah.
that's why you got to have humility and honor.
Totally.
You know what I'm saying?
Man.
So because people will be like insecure about
Yeah.
their hunger and then go research everything ever
Yeah. Right.
and then know a bunch of facts,
Yeah.
Yeah.
which is cool. But if you do it out of insecurity, then it's not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's like this Eminem song, Lose Yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I think about when I think of like hunger. That's probably a little bit more chip on your shoulder, you know?
Oh, yeah.
It's like,
I have to revisit the lyrics, but I
Yeah.
think I know what you mean.
oh, yeah. Dude, go listen to the clean version.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
but
Mom's weak,
Mom's
arms
spaghetti.
weak, mom's spaghetti.
Mom's Spaghetti.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you heard that one?
No?
Where they replace them all with spaghetti. All the
Spaghetti
rhymes.
on his spaghetti already.
Yeah, yeah.
Mom's spaghetti.
Yeah. You know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
I know. I like how
that's an
this idea you're talking about like a vice on either side of a virtue. Like,
Yes.
like too much of this or too
That's a good
little
way
of
to put it.
this. And
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like,
That's
well,
a great way to
Whoa.
put it.
It's from the core too, actually. There's,
yeah?
I think it's from Aristotle. He says
In
virtue.
philosophy?
Yeah, he says virtue is the mean between two vices.
Oh,
Yes.
Or
right.
the,
I remember that.
He calls
yeah.
it the golden mean.
Yeah.
It's the means between two vices. It's holding things in balance.
Yeah.
That's
not,
cool.
Not like humility that you started with.
Mm-hmm.
Too much on one side, it looks like pride or arrogant,
Yep.
haughty, full of yourself. It's all about me.
Yep.
Too little is also pride, but it's woe is me, I suck. No, I can't
And
take
it's
a
still all
compliment.
about you.
It's
Yeah.
still all about me.
Shoot, dang.
If you tell me way to go, I'm gonna say, nah, it's all God. Ooh, maybe I shouldn't go that far. I don't know.
No, I mean,
For real. It's
did
like
he give you gifts or not? You know?
No,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
real.
Yeah.
It's so real. So real.
But it's like, yeah, there's a mean between two vices, and it's, dude, Rob does this. I keep going back to our soccer team. We do high fives, where at the end of every practice, every game, people do high fives, and it was amazing. Like this one time, someone gave a high five, and I saw him like say nothing, and then I saw Rob like kind of look at him, which just shows this is something Rob's been building into him for a long time. And then they were like, "Oh yeah, thank you." They all do it
Yeah.
after they get a high five. They say, "Thank you."
Wow.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
That's
it's
great.
just like
yeah.
it's right down
Yeah,
the middle.
I'll take it. Thank
That's
you.
good.
Yeah.
It's not like, and it's not like, oh, I don't deserve that. It's
Yes.
like, thank you.
Yeah.
Dude,
Most adults can't do that.
Yeah.
literally
Get a
that
high five and
exact
say
thing
thank you.
is in our curriculum for humble.
Booyah. Which Rob's been collaborating
Booyah.
on the.
Yes.
Yeah, I just think it's amazing.
He's been
awesome.
involved. So.
But then Hungry has a spectrum, or Hungry has
Yeah.
a means between two vices, right?
Yeah.
Where it would be bulldozer, like you
Yep.
said,
And
crazy,
lazy.
and lazy.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And what is we say something? Oh, life is often spent in one ditch or the other.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The idea is
Yeah.
to stay on the road.
Wow.
Yeah.
Or whatever we say. I don't know. But yes, that concept
That's
is
awesome.
And I love the vice thing. That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mean between two vices.
Yeah.
There's probably something we could for the honor one, but it'd take a little more thinking probably
Yeah.
to find the.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
But anyway, final
right.
virtue.
For the sake of time, final
The
virtue.
fourth
We can talk
H.
about this forever.
Final virtue.
Fourth H, not to be confused with. Anyway. 4H.
4-H.
Yeah.
What's 4-H?
4H.
Well, you know,
It's a Midwest thing, I guess.
this isn't necessarily in the curriculum, but I like to think that the middle one is holistic because that starts with an H, and it's just perfect. Anyway, so it could be
Holistic.
5H. I don't know.
I always like to
Anyway.
think humor's our fifth
Oh,
virtue.
yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Humor
That's a-
just
that's a
fits our
value.
ethos.
That's a
It
value.
is? Okay.
value.
Nice.
Dude, Hawk did a great job on that value.
I'm
Did
sure
he?
he did.
I
Yes.
bet he owns that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He should teach
I
on
mean,
it
anything Hawk does, it's like above and beyond.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Totally.
for sure.
What a hungry guy, you know. Anyway,
What a hungry hawk.
yeah. Hey, another H.
He would definitely
Oh.
high-five you for that. Yeah.
Okay, so the last one is healthy.
Mm.
And we wrote Excel team players are healthy. They are always seeking personal health and wholeness in body, soul, and spirit. They maintain and sustain a healthy balance in things like family, work, fun, community, rest, etc. They are emotionally intelligent, sensitive to their environment, and honor others through kindness and service. Healthy people have good discernment and wisdom when it comes to effectively dealing with others in truth and grace. They provide helpful solutions to problems and challenges and are unoffendable. They learn to process emotions and feelings without complaint or dissension. Healthy people make healthy people.
Nice.
And I love that.
Healthy people make healthy people.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
You always hear the opposite of it.
Hurt people, hurt people. Yeah.
Healthy people make healthy people. That's awesome.
Free people, free people.
Let's go.
We could keep going, man.
Yeah.
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 Spinning on its head.
Yep.
Yeah,
But that is kind of a concept in the kingdom of like reaping and sowing idea of like, hey, if you want honor in your life, maybe honor somebody
Yeah.
else. Or
Wow.
like,
So
if
good.
you want health in your life, you know?
Yeah.
If you want to receive, start to
Yeah.
give.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Freely give as he freely
Yeah.
gave.
Yep.
Boom.
Wow.
Yeah.
So good.
So I'm super excited about this, obviously.
Yeah.
So all of our practicum students, they do this during their work halls, workshops.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Yep. And then this is kind of like 30,000 foot view.
Yeah.
But practically it's like, and Nicole did a great job putting together like the workbook itself, because it gets more detailed of like, hey, do you see someone in your life that is exercising one of these virtues? Like go take them to coffee and ask them specifically
Amazing.
about it.
It's amazing.
You know, as an example.
Yeah.
But then it's like, okay, in the workplace, how are you hungry in your workplace? You know, and so, you know, we could flesh all that out, and I think it would be a cool thing to even receive some of the stuff from students as they keep going through curriculum
yeah.
and just keep building
And
on
getting
itself,
some-
getting
yeah.
stories and
Heck yeah.
examples that are like very pinpointed and accurate.
That's
Wow.
awesome.
I think that'd be fun.
That would be fun.
Still a journey, still developing.
Yeah.
Also, for the rest of the year on the podcast, well, Austin's going to be taking us through each, like, kind of deeper on each individual one.
Virtue. Wow.
And then also Nicole is going to help explain essentially what we just talked about, like how students are exercising it in their workplace, because we're spending a semester on each one.
Cool.
And so what's the first one again? Sorry, is the first one Humble? Yeah. So when we do Humble first semester, there's actually going to be Nicole's actually keeping an eye out for like, okay, how's a student exercising this in the workplace?
Well,
What are some stories we have around that?
it's awesome.
So it's going to be cool.
Beautiful.
So that's what the next part of the journey looks like on the podcast.
Dude.
So, last year and a half, we did the core. We finished the core. Amazing.
Yeah.
And now we're getting into
Oh, like
virtues.
the podcast.
Yeah, we finished all the podcasts.
Following the
recording.
journey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's going to be really good.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah.
Man.
Wow.
Fun.
Man, thank you for this. This is awesome.
Yeah,
This
sure.
is so good.
Sure.
Such an inspiration, honestly.
No, it's been a very collaborative project.
For sure.
It's been tons of fun.
Yeah.
I mean, what an amazing thing to just sit down and chew on these ideas. and
Dude,
I bet.
Revelation
so good. Yeah.
galore.
Wow.
You spent like the last better half a year.
Yeah.
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 Wow. That's awesome. Well, thank you everyone for joining us for another podcast episode. Don't forget, Monday nights, we do Zoom calls.
Yep.
Program
right.
presentations.
Yep. If you or someone you know is in search of a college and like the sound of debt-free, 2.5 years, bachelor's degree in Christian discipleship,
And values and virtues.
learning the values and virtues that we just talked about on this
Yeah.
podcast,
If you
join
wanna learn
us.
Honor from Austin.
Yep.
Yeah.
Join us 8 p.m. on Zoom. The link is on our website under our Visit Us tab. It's actually on our homepage now, too.
Yeah.
Our 8 p.m. virtual presentations. So if you want to join, click the link to sign up or send the link to a friend.
Yep.
And we'd love to see you there.
We'd love to have you.
Yeah.
All right. We'll see you guys at 6 a.m. on Wednesday for
What's that for?
Oh,
Louisiana
yeah.
State College.
Road trip.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
6 a.m.
Dang.
Yep.
All right.
Road
Let's
trip.
do it.
What are we
Let's
driving?
go.
My car.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
Austin's, is that Hungry? Honor? What is that? Litmus Travis car?
I think it's
Humble.
just
Nice.
Nice. Nice.
cool. Well, thank you guys.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Thank you.